This is a conversation I've been having for a couple of months with a few individuals around the concept of a concierge. And we're seeing this happen more and more in the industry with companies like VIP Stake and Bet Hero, I think it was, that's launched their own VIP services, concierge services. And I think this is going to be the next generation of affiliation in the VIP space. Now, the risk factor here is that people to try to commercialize it and it defeats the whole point of concierge, which again goes down to personalization and getting to know your audience. I don't believe affiliates know their audience enough, and that leads to a breakdown in trying to refer or direct that traffic to the right source. And that is something I believe over the next 2, 3 years, we're going to see change quite a bit because, with the impacts of things like Google and SEO and things, we're going to need to innovate. We're going to need to change how we're presenting ourselves. And these kind of concierge or recommendation or VIP reviews are going to become pivotal to diversifying the offering that exists right now.
I'm John Wright, and you're listening to Affiliate BI, the business intelligence and affiliate marketing podcast brought to you by Snapstrong. Welcome to the Affiliate BI podcast. Today we're chatting with Gali Hartuv, who is the CEO of Warrior Lab, and he's also got a popular niche newsletter in iGaming called Gali's Guide, which covers the world of VIP, and I think everyone should listen or read it. Gali, welcome to the show.
Thank you, John, for having me. Great to be here.
So I want to get started by talking about your story in launching Galley's Guide, which is, I think it's been a year ago that when you started it. And when I saw it, I was like, this is cool because it's VIP content. And as a former affiliate manager and VIP manager, I'm like, there's no guides for this stuff out there. And I know you shared with me a couple stories about some people weren't happy, where it's like, don't talk about Fight Club. So I just want to know how all of the story happened.
So, we turned one last month, which is crazy to think about. I mean, Gali's Guide started off as quite literally a side project that was just to pass time and write down thoughts and having discussions with clients or people within the industry. There would be some really constructive and interesting conversations that would happen. And, you know, in the build up to the launch in August 23, there were hundreds, if not thousands, of conversations that transpired over the years leading to that point. And constantly there was this reiterated question: Why don't you write about this? Why don't you publicize content? Why don't you, put your knowledge out there, let other people actually see, why you do what you do? And I never really read into it until one day I was sitting down with some people and they said, let's try and convince you to do this. There's no content out there. People like us that have known you a long time have the opportunity of obviously learning from you and asking questions directly. But what about all the people who don't know who you are or don't know where to look for information? And they they did convince me, and I had a lot of support in going into it. So I started off, and over the last year, we've really developed the content to make it more professional, more specific, more actionable. We've dived into some really challenging conversations. We've gone beyond just articles. We've expanded into question and answer formats with other thought leaders to showcase them. We did our first VIP industry analysis where we showcased our findings across the world of VIP, um, and it's been amazing. And yes, we had obstacles, and we had a few people, disgruntled people, message us and message me directly, going, "What the hell are you doing?" And I get it. I mean, disrupt the status quo and go against the grain because the rule of VIP, and I came from that mindset as well. When I was in account management and I was working for operators, you are told you do not talk about how we do things, don't share our secrets, don't share the strategies. And the reality of it is that working for myself and being in consulting now for the last 3 years, I don't fall within those rules, to be honest. I can write about whatever I want and I'm accountable to myself. Of course, at the end of the day, there are certain areas of VIP that I don't venture into discussing, not in a written format at least. And that's because there's a lot that happens in the VIP space. And it's funny to look back now at those people that did message, "Oh, what the hell are you doing? And why are you talking about this? And this isn't how we act in VIP today." Majority of those haters have come round, now supporters and subscribers to our newsletter. And some of them even DM me with questions and topics to discuss. So I suppose the biggest takeaway from having this resistance start from a few select individuals is if you present some actionable value, not just content for the sake of creating content, but actually producing content that converts or has actionable takeaways, people will inevitably come around. And that's exactly what we found. And I suppose it just goes to show if you're patient enough and you're consistent and you endure through the resistance, it really can contribute. And those people that were initially against you actually start supporting you. And that's exactly the situation that we're in today.
Yeah, that's amazing to hear. I mean, I know that when we wanted to do this podcast, it was the same story. It was like, I just felt there was amazing conversations happening about affiliate marketing that were not being written down at all. And I said, I want to get this recorded, like maybe at least a newsletter. And now I'm kind of doing both. So if you see me kind of copying a couple of pointers from your newsletter, I'm guilty, but it's an awesome story. And funny enough, I've been actually talking to other people that do this type of thought leadership in the SEO space, and I believe if you copy these concepts and apply them to an affiliate site, you would actually end up with something amazing. It's kind of like, how do you come up with something different or go down a niche or rabbit hole where no one's covering the topic, but you can just kind of dig and start sharing insights.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, this year, I think more so than many other years, we've seen a lot of people come out and start sharing knowledge and sharing content. And I really believe that people now are finding that voice and finding that, I would say, confidence to go out there and really present themselves as a thought leader, as an expert in particular fields. More consultants are coming out as well, and those independents that don't fall under organizations or under corporate guides that tell you what you can and can't publish. And I think it resulted in a huge amount of new content, especially on LinkedIn, being released, independent podcasts and blogs and newsletters released off LinkedIn as well. And it's good to see this trend has started to become a bit more popular. Um, those that are starting out, I believe that they should have the platform to at least ask questions or come to those that are a bit more established and have gone through the ringers and gone through the pain points to educate so that we keep the content consistent. Um, there have been a lot of people that are now just AI generating content as well, which I think diminishes the effort that some of us are making. And I think that's where people also need with caution is that if you're just going to chat GPT something, especially on an outdated model, where the information hasn't caught up or it's no longer relevant, I mean, you're going to diminish your own personal brand. And I think a big portion coming from affiliates or marketing or even VIP, that brand and that persona is something massive. And you can spend years building that image of who you are and that reputation can literally be gone in a couple of minutes if you decide to try and take a short.
Okay. Now I've got my first rabbit hole question because it's like as you talk, it's like I come up with more ideas. So in the AI space, I mean, there's a lot of automation. There's automation of content, and there's now automation of outreach. And I'm assuming that in the VIP space, you don't want to do that. Like, I think for me personally, when someone pitches me a LinkedIn DM or an email, and I know it's automated. I'm like, you didn't take the time to look at me. I think this must also drive VIPs nuts if they're being fed automated messages. So would you say that automation and AI and VIP they can go together, but they mostly don't if they're used in the wrong way.
Correct. I mean, when it comes to VIP, it's all about personalization. And the thing is, I'm going to get some mass mailer or, widespread marketing email templated canned responses, or worst of all, actually in the VIP space, a poorly trained chatbot. You know, you're going to create friction, and that's friction that could be avoided. So the reality is, when it comes to VIP, I understand VIP teams are not always the cheapest to have within an organization, but the cost of trying to automate engagement and relationship building, you're going to lose a lot more than just having someone on the ground that could manage that. That human touch factor is something that AI is lacking. It may sound human in how well you prompt it, but the reality of it is that you're never going to have an AI be able to reach the same level of empathy, emotion, compassion as an account manager. And that human touch is something that I don't see getting replaced by AI.
Agreed. So the first question I've got is what are what are most online gaming companies doing wrong when it comes to their VIP program?
So I'll go back to the AI theme in that sense. We're looking at generic template, one size fits all approaches becoming more and more common in the VIP space. Part of it is due to the simplicity and ease of launching your own brand through turnkey solutions or white label solutions, where if you have enough money, anyone can have a casino or a sports book. But the problem with that is you're still following a very templated, out of the box solution where three or four different varied versions of these templates, tiered programs or whatever type of gamified loyalty programs that you're creating, they're all the same. They just look slightly different aesthetically. So that generic templated one size fits all approach is something that is becoming a pain point. It's no longer a unique selling point, no matter how you dress it up. Um, and by extension with that, there's very little innovation these days around relationship building. There are some things that we have done right, especially as a VIP part of the industry. Um, but I think we've become complacent. We're very comfortable where we are as an industry. And while iGaming has always been at the forefront of innovation and change and developing something new, VIP not as forthcoming when it comes to experimenting or trying something new. And I understand the mentality behind it. Why would you experiment with ultimately your most valuable assets? But at the end of the day, you don't have to go widespread experimentation. You can do it in incremental steps. You can do it in test groups versus control groups. There are different ways to go about it, but I think where VIP and companies are going wrong when it comes to managing the VIP programs is often you find VIP operate in a very siloed approach. VIP works within this bubble, it's isolated, a- and by extension, that isolation and shields VIP from that collaborative effort that could actually support them with growth and innovation. So, where companies could turn that around is take a more collaborative approach, get people understanding what VIP means to that business. What is VIP? If you go into most operations and you ask them, what does the VIP department do? They're just going to go, they manage people with a lot of money. And there's so much more to VIP programs than just people with money. There's strategy, there's concept, there's marketing, there's even acquisitional support, um, retention, and so on. The list just it's never ending. So I think if companies can just get out of that complacent position and start taking a bit of risk, start experimenting, start looking from a more innovative mindset, um, we're going to see a lot of change, and I think a lot of positive change to what we have today, which right now everything is starting to look very similar.
Yeah, it's interesting because I mean, it sounds like retention is one of the keywords that I don't think we talk enough about even in affiliate marketing and in iGaming. I just feel like it's a, it's an industry that I believe today is more focused on the acquisition. Like everything's about FTD. It's not about player value. And I think the companies that do take the time to understand retention and personalization, I mean, these are the ones that they're bigger. They're the ones that, it's the 10% having the 80% of the business. And
100%.
and as well, would you say that everyone, when they're doing VIP wrong, they're kind of putting them into a single bucket and saying, "This is all of our VIPs," but they're not really doing cohort analysis or analyzing the data to be like, "Wait a minute, these people are all different, so we have to treat them differently."
Oh, definitely. I mean, when you look at how some operators segment their player base, it's VIP or non-VIP, but there are sub-segments to segments, and there's a whole other element that has been popularized or is becoming more popularized from land-based, which is player development. And player development has now, at least in the last 2 years, digitally become a far bigger focus. Um, Before you had VIP, pre-VIP, non-VIP. Now I can tell you several new VIP segments that fall within that. Um, and so, yeah, I definitely see that there have been shifts, but again, we're talking 2, 3 years. In the grand scheme of how long we've been around, that's not a lot of time.
Yeah. And do you study the VIP space in the land-based gaming markets? And what do you think iGaming can learn from what's been established for basically, I mean, maybe 100 years, the last 50 years, etc.
I mean, I follow some very, very crucial land-based figures. Um, People like Nick Polito, for example, who's unbelievable at player development in Vegas and around the world, doing what he does exclusively for 30 plus years. When you look at land based gaming, I mean, I keep a finger on the pulse. And that's because there are similarities that you're finding have migrated into the digital space, player development being one of them that we've seen in the last 2, 3 years. But when you start looking VIP profiling, there's no real difference other than um, trying to create a profile for your environment. If you look at land based and you go to Caesar or MGM or any of those, I mean, the concierge at the hotel knows exactly what pillow you like. They know what thread count your sheet needs to be, what water should be waiting in the fridge. I mean, that information is recorded on their system. It's not just coincidental that as a VIP, you show up, your room is ready, and everything you like is waiting for you. Um, they even may have recorded what temperature to put the thermostat on. And these are all different indicators we see in online. What are their likes, dislikes, preferences, gaming habits, frequencies. We record as much as we can. I think when it comes to iGaming compared to land-based, we have more data, and we're able to get on those touch points. But land-based has pioneered for a big extent, gifting hospitality to a level that iGaming can't quite compete with. We don't have the brick and mortar that we can take the screen divide away from that human factor, and that face to face is something that iGaming will never be able to surpass to land based. But when we do hospitality, there are ways in which to build relationships that I think can go beyond land based. Land based is confined generally to very specific focus areas or to properties where you don't venture too far out, unless you're doing events, like for instance, Formula One in Vegas, as an example. Um, but with iGaming, I think both industries, land based and iGaming, can learn from each other. I think the biggest challenge there is that we don't talk to each other that much. Um, you do have land based, of course, that venture into online. We've seen in the North American market, as well as established regions like the UK, where the brick and mortar shops are your digital companies that we all know. Um, but I think we could do more to interact with each other and brainstorm and try and come together to support each focus area.
And then, of course, I want to always bring in the affiliate discussion. So, do you think affiliates could be a part of this VIP ecosystem uh, first in the acquisition side where it's like, is there certain content they could create that would attract more VIPs? And then the secondary part, which is not all affiliate sites are focused on retention, but I think the ones that come to mind are forums and communities. So do you think both of these are still kind of relevant to say like, look, affiliate and VIP, they do go hand in hand. It's just a matter of maybe educating affiliates of how they can help.
Yeah, absolutely. I think if we're looking in the digital sense of VIP affiliation and VIP acquisition, the only real VIP affiliate, I'll probably get in trouble for saying this, but the only real VIP affiliate is a junket. Someone with a black book knows their players personally, that has gone out and actually met these people, exactly what you would find in Vegas or Macau or Philippines and all those areas. I mean, Singapore and so on. They're renowned for junkets. But when you look at your digital affiliation in the sense that iGaming knows I I would say digital affiliates, it's become, I would say, quite static over the years. We have our review websites and we have our forums and so on, but there hasn't been much pioneering towards VIP. Forums are great, but VIPs aren't on forums. And having review websites available is great, but VIPs aren't looking for those type of reviews. They're looking for something more specific, looking for actionable representation of VIP programs. And I think this is where the line gets a little bit blurry in that as an affiliate, we obviously look at it from a commercial exercise. The person that promotes the hardest or wants to rank the highest will pay the most. But the reality is, if we're not going to fairly rank based on capability rather than who paid the most, then it comes down to risking your reputation as a reputable affiliate because you're no longer presenting value. We need to present that value with actionable insights into VIP benefits, unique selling points, and we need to state facts. It's not a sales pitch. Um, and it's the easiest way to destroy your VIP network or credibility is by leading these VIP players that do come across your affiliate site into a VIP program that is subpar because we've promoted it as amazing and excellent, and that's because they rank the highest, etc. Um, Now this VIP goes and spent tens, if not hundreds of thousands, only to leave this brand disappointed. Now, someone's got to be held accountable for that. And the VIP standpoint is going to hold someone accountable. And the blame will extend inevitably beyond the operator who directed me to this VIP program. And that's where the blame will shift onto that affiliate. And that's you losing that VIP traffic source forever. Right? And I think this is where affiliates really need to be more careful. We need to understand what we're promoting, not just promote for the sake of it. And ties to our first point, don't create content for the sake of creating content. And I think once we get that point right, affiliates will start seeing far greater buy into a higher value lead because the content that is being promoted or the information that is being shared is presenting that value proposition that VIPs are looking for.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, I've got like more notes and ideas that one thing I think some affiliates do well is that some of them will basically say, hey, when you're going to this new casino or this any like one that's been around for 10 years, this is what to expect. This is the deposit methods. They actually share screenshots of going through that experience. And maybe that's something that more affiliates could do to say, hey, this program doesn't just have a VIP program. This is what makes them different. Um, do you think that's something that's like at least something that affiliates could do a bit more of?
Definitely. I don't think enough transparent review of the processes that players are going to go through. The VIPs want simple, they want efficient, they want to know that there is as little disruption to their gameplay, transactions, etc. And if we could showcase that without VIPs having to go through the process of registering an account and finding out for themselves, I think we would see a far higher conversion to those type of promoting of VIP programs or just brands in general.
And would you say that VIP players, when they are on affiliate sites, basically using them as a discovery channel to find these casinos, do you think they care about who the owners of those websites are? Who are the authors? Like some affiliate sites, they don't have a lot of personal brand. And I'm just wondering if VIP players actually care about this a bit more. Like when they actually end up to the casino, they take it a step further. Like, well, who even owns this casino?
I don't think too many VIPs go that granular. I mean, there are some VIPs that in joining more VIP centric brands do get to meet the owners and do get to rub shoulders with the executive team, etc. And that's because those VIPs warrant that. Um, Often what you find is the differentiating factor between those companies who understand VIP and those who don't and just present as VIP is that ownership understands that if I can make myself available, the VIP understands that the entire organization is invested in them, not just a designated department or a point of contact. And it's easier said than done. Not many owners want to get involved, and not many owners do give out their business cards or contact information. And that's because VIPs can be a lot of work to manage. But I don't believe VIPs go out there, well, I'm not going to join this brand unless I know who the owner is. It's a nice to have, and it's a very powerful extra if you do it right. But I don't think it's make or break attractive VIP.
And do you think that affiliates could do a bit more when it comes to first party data to say, okay, rather than click out and then you go to the casino, it could be like, look, what are you looking for in a casino? It's like maybe there's a forum or more than a newsletter. A newsletter is like at least you've got their email, but maybe there's a forum that, affiliates could say, well, hey, how do I get to know my own players better?
This is a conversation I've been having for a couple of months with a few individuals around the concept of a concierge. And we're seeing this happen more and more in the industry with companies like VIP Stake and Bet Hero, I think it was, that's launched their own VIP services, concierge services. And I think this is going to be the next generation of affiliation in the VIP space. Now, the risk factor here is that people to try to commercialize it and it defeats the whole point of concierge, which again goes down to personalization and getting to know your audience. I don't believe affiliates know their audience enough. And that leads to a breakdown in trying to refer or direct that traffic to the right source. And that is something I believe over the next 2, 3 years, we're going to see change quite a bit because, with the impacts of things like Google and SEO and things, we're going to need to innovate. We're going to need to change how we're presenting ourselves. And these kind of concierge or recommendation or VIP reviews are going to become pivotal to diversifying the offering that exists right now.
Yeah, that almost leads right into my next question, which is I've noticed some sites that I've heard that they can command like higher CPAs. And we're talking about top ranking websites, but it's not like they just rank for any keyword. They're very specific at what they do. And I just think that because they put so much intent on the product, which is the design, the user experience, the content. I'm just wondering if this is kind of like an extension of VIP where it's like, look, it's almost like they're talking to every player, but the more quality of a site you have, I think this kind of is just going to lead to more value. And I think Google is actually forcing affiliates to up their game when it comes to quality. So I'm just wondering if you think the concept of having a better product as an affiliate site will just naturally lead to like better player values.
I think it's a direct extension. I mean, if you presenting as this elevated website that clearly shows time, money, and consideration put into building this website, that you've considered all the questions without having to go through the process of the player submitting something through a forum or trying to go and navigate an FAQ or whatever it is, if you go through the process of giving, rather in this case, not so much more, but more accurate and more targeted and presented in a way that not only looks professional, but is relevant, that's going to attract that higher value. VIPs want to know, like in their operator relationship, time and investment needs to be worthwhile for me. And if they go into an affiliate website where this affiliate providing them with more data, more insights, more support to make the most informed and accurate decision when selecting an operator or specifically a VIP program, that's going to earn the loyalty of that VIP to keep coming back to that affiliate and go, well, you know what? I had a bad user experience with that operator. I don't like them. I'm removing my business. I'm going to go back to the source because I had a good time up until it wasn't. And now I'm looking for a change. Now, the days of VIPs having one account is almost non-existent. Most VIPs today are playing two, three, sometimes four accounts. And the goal there is you need to get into the top three. Now, how do you secure a VIP coming back? You know that even if they've converted in one brand, they can still convert in a second or a third. All you need to do is prove that your referral to whatever brand it is worked once and it was correct. And that VIP will come back and take your second choice and your third and fourth and fifth and so on until they need to, or until they're comfortable and they don't need to make any further changes. And that will all attribute to that affiliate. Eventually, and this is something for affiliates to consider as well, eventually VIPs start to centralize their business. They may start with four or five different brands, but eventually they're going to consolidate that into their top three or top two. So the objective from the affiliate side, not just the operator, but from the affiliate side, you would want to have referred those top two brands to that same player. You're not losing 50% of your rev share or whatever the agreement you make is. Um, and that can come through having a professional website that actually presents as VIP or at least more elevated.
And would you say that with all of the thousands of online casinos that exist today, and we're noticing like we're adding 50 new iGaming affiliate programs per month, which represents probably about 75 brands per month. I don't even know what it is, but do you think that there's just too much accessibility for VIPs to land on a not just any white label, but a white label that doesn't have a VIP program? Like, do you think our whole industry is missing out on a lot of revenue that affiliates themselves might be sending more traffic to these brands that maybe they just don't have that VIP program? Like, should affiliates go out of their way and say, I need to know what your program is. I need to know that if I'm going to send you, even by accident, like a whale, like that, you're going to do the best job of not just converting it, but retaining it.
I think that's where the biggest gap right now between operators and affiliates is that there is no collaborative effort when it comes to explaining and educating from an acquisition standpoint. What are we going to do after that conversion? What are we going to do once you do bring us the value? Or how are you even going to convince the affiliate to route higher value traffic to you in the first place? Um, and this is something I think needs to be worked on overall. The questions from the affiliate side are not being asked where aren't prying into what can you offer? Great, you have a VIP program. What does that mean? Oh, cool. I can see that you are on some white label or some turnkey that has the same template as several hundred other brands out there. What are you doing that's different? Besides your gamification that I can find at several different brands, what is your service approach? What is your account management approach? How are you paying your players? How quickly are you paying your players? Those type of questions need to be asked. And it's not just writing a review where you ask the operator, please give us information and our content team will edit it to our style and we'll put it on our website. It's a case of let us review you with an understanding of what we're reviewing and let us write an honest I would say, representation of what you actually offer. And I've seen even with the concierge attempts that are out there, I've seen programs that not only do I know personally, but I've also consulted with that have struggled a lot in the past, being showcased as a top 5 VIP program in the world and top 10 in Europe. And I'm like, well, that's all fair and well, but that's a false representation. And the only thing that's going to happen there is it's going to end in a misled VIP that is going to blame the operator for underperformance, and they're going to blame the affiliate for misleading them. There needs to be better communication, and there needs to be a better understanding from both the affiliate side and a willingness from the operator side to, to share. And I think
Yeah.
once we get that right, that's when we'll see an improvement.
Yeah, I mean, we've had some chats where I've kind of wondered, what are the tools that help operators either make more money or stop them from losing money? And when I think about this, I'm like, wait a minute, this is actually important for affiliates because if we've closed 1,000 iGaming affiliate programs in the last 3 years, which probably represents, I don't know, 1,500 brands. We can all find those brands. It's too many brands closing, which hurts affiliates. And I think affiliates need to care more about, well, what's behind your operation beyond, you know, X platform or a white label? Like, do you have these tools? So I want to ask you, what are some of the tools you think that operators should have that either helps them make more money, whether it's VIP or anything? And on the opposite side of like, what would also stop them from losing money?
So I'm going to draw reference actually to your article that you released last month, the Too Much Sales article regarding affiliates. Um, I agree with the companies that you highlighted in there with the addition of one. So I'll go through all those companies. You highlighted in your article Greco, which focuses on bonus abuse. And I think what they're doing is unbelievable because where are the revenue leaks coming from? It's from not understanding bonusing and loyalty. So bonus abuse is a massive component. And we see it from Warrior Lab's side in VIP all the time. The lack of understanding about bonus budgeting and how to actually reward loyalty without buying loyalty. There's a whole psychological side that we could get into on another day, but for the most part, bonus abuse is a massive revenue leak. Another one from the marketing and affiliate side would be FTDX, with misdirected traffic and missed opportunity where it's just money on the table. You have this amazing website or you're doing something right, but you're attracting the wrong audience and then you're doing nothing with it. So that's another company revenue leak, not from a player perspective from within, but more from missed opportunity. Then I would put my own business out there with Warrior Lab, looking from a consultancy standpoint, B2C optimization, and trying to help businesses understand how to retain and grow what you have, how to collaborate better and communicate better, not just with your players, but interdepartmentally so that you can support each other with different perspectives. You know, We're working on an unbelievable project at the moment with acquisition, where we're doing this very in analysis on every acquisition channel and tying it into the VIP segment where we're actually reverse engineering the behavioral traits, patterns of an established VIP segment and how they originated. And this is something that is very new. I've never seen a report or an exercise like this done, but this is something that even the business and team of a couple dozen BI experts didn't even consider. Um, and then on top of that, one company which wasn't on the list, which I'll add to the list, is Blask. And the way that Blask has entered the market now, providing marketing insights, it's the perfect balance to not just affiliates, but operators and acquisition teams to understand the data and the positioning of who their target audiences are, as well as their competitors. And it's where I see it really empowering the affiliate space is now you'll have more of an understanding on who you're working with. the value potential of your traffic going in one direction versus another. But at the same time, you can start forecasting conversions, and you can also start to preempt how much more effort you need to put in and who you are targeting. And that's the start of what we mentioned earlier about affiliates knowing your audience and knowing your targets, and how to get more information to the right people or the right operators so that your conversion rates go up, your value goes up. Um, and from an operator side, it's going to support in a very similar fashion as well.
Yeah. What's crazy is I've had a few people mention this concept, and it's it shouldn't happen, but it's almost like the affiliates could actually afford to almost hire you guys to work on behalf of the operators. Because I mean, look, if you're talking about a big affiliate that makes 25 million per month, I mean, they could afford to say, hey, if we're going to send you this traffic, which is going to be worth a lot of money, I mean, your retainer is like right in there. It's almost like
Yeah.
it's actually worth their time to do it, which they shouldn't have to. But I know even in the affiliate software space, this is a reality. There's some software, and I won't name which ones, but sometimes the operator has to pay more to get like a couple extra features. That features give more data to the affiliate, and the affiliate is frustrated going, only half of the operators on these platforms offer this richer data. And when I
Yeah.
have richer data, I can do more with it.
But I think that goes beyond just tools and product as well. I mean, we've worked with affiliates in the past and we worked with operators to support affiliates in the past where we try and find systemic issues that go beyond the affiliate. The affiliate can only do so much to bring a lead. And once that lead's converted, it's over to the operator and it's up to the operator what happens next. The problem that you find, and we've spoken about this in the past, but the problem that you find in these scenarios is if you don't have a robust retention model or you don't have a collaborative acquisition strategy and you don't have an internal operation retention CRM approach, ultimately what you find you can convert as many players as you want, but your retention is going to go down. The same applies with bonus misappropriation and trying to allocate and buy loyalty where a lot of companies celebrate these sudden spikes and GGR or NGR going up and we celebrate this. But the reality of it is if it's not sustainable, it's not consistent or standard behavior, you get this delayed blowback. You're not going to see it in the moment. And the affiliate might rejoice because they have this amazing rev share coming in and this sudden lift of whatever, 50%, 100%. And 2, 3 months later, there's a sudden dive. And when you start trying to analyze what happened, why are these players dropping off, you can't see it in the moment because the problem doesn't come from that moment. It comes from a historical moment. Um, and having those strategies to combat these volatile spikes and drops, that's something that's really lacking right now in the industry. There are some unbelievable acquisition teams out there that we've worked with. The problem is in many of these companies, you have acquisition, one unit, retention, one unit, customer operations, one unit, affiliation as part of acquisition as a sub unit within the unit. And everyone is compartmentalized into their own category.
Yeah.
That's the problem here.
That's exactly true. I mean, it's almost like the whole thing, like even with sales and marketing not working together, it's the
Yeah,
same thing. They're all in their own silos.
correct.
Okay.
So I think in that sense, if we it's not to say that we have to be this massive collaborative, everyone does everything, you know, industry. Everyone has their skill set, everyone has their own direction, but we can learn a lot by asking each other for a challenge or a difference in opinion. And if we know that our action will indirectly impact someone else's focus, get them into that conversation. That's the best thing that someone can do. And we're often at the table when those discussions are taking place, trying to facilitate as an impartial party. How do we have this conversation without it being seen as someone else trying to do your job? And the same applies with affiliates and operators. The affiliate is not here to tell the operator how to do their job. Affiliates is simply providing insights on how to best manage, retain, and convert value from the traffic that I'm sending. And I think that that's the same mindset that operators need to understand. It's not a threat, and it's not someone trying to tell you that you're doing something wrong. It's not an accusation either. S- I think once we get into this more positive way of looking at things, and we look at it from commercial, but also from human touch and personalization and value, I think we're going to see a big shift in how the industry is performing overall, not just on brand level, but even from a segment level as well.
Yeah, and that might even change to this situation where casinos are opening and closing all the time. Like
Yeah.
50, we're adding 50 iGaming affiliate programs per month and we're closing 30. This is just like clockwork, which is
Yeah.
kind of good on paper that we're adding this many more, but I mean, I think there's just going to be a matter of time when the market's even more flooded than what it is. I think affiliates always did care about quality, but they're kind of like, what do I have? And funny enough, on the affiliate side, there's not too many affiliates sharing a ton of data. The only data that's actually being shared is you can go on Ask Gamblers and go, who are they promoting and why? But that doesn't tell you everything. That just tells you that, well, they're making good money with them, but is that the best traffic? Like a
Yeah.
program could easily compensate that with a flat fee. And if you're a smaller affiliate, you're not really commanding these flat fees. You're kind of like, look, where do I send traffic to? This is actually, it's a problem that people just don't have enough insights on.
I agree completely.
And then, so I'm going to change one of my questions to say, if a smaller affiliate was fortunate enough to have like 6 hours of your time, how would you be able to help them?
That's a great question. I think if I were to dedicate time to trying to help a smaller affiliate, it would be about trying to break down the understanding of what they're working with and at the same time who they're working with. For me, it's very much about painting a picture. And I had this conversation the other day where someone asked me, uh, I went into a company and I started asking a lot of questions. I had an established program, and the question was, why do you need to know all this information? And my metaphor that I used is, well, when you go to see a new doctor, the doctor's going to ask you for your history, ask you information, and they're going to need to paint a picture because I can't help you if I don't know what I'm trying to help. And this is where trying to help an affiliate, what are the pain points that are being experienced? What are the unknown unknowns? Can I help you discover what you don't know? At the same time, it's also about reviewing what is known and challenging the status quo, potentially find ways to optimize, to simplify, to find more efficient channels, and at the same time, possibly even look at diversification. What are we presenting? And then I would apply more broader brand focus. How are you communicating your brand? Is it going and presenting the way that you hope it is to the audience that you're going after? Because you can't go after everyone. You don't want to be the jack of all trades and then master of none. You're going to need to be at least proficient somewhere, and trying to determine what that somewhere is. I think that that is a really strong point to start because everything can be built around that primary objective. But in many cases, a lot of people don't know what the primary objective is. They have multiple objectives. So I think if I were to dedicate the time, that would be the summary of how I would go about it.
That makes sense. And I guess maybe a similar question of like, okay, how would you be able to help, let's say, the larger established companies like, the Katana Medias, the Game Lounges, the Rake Techs, the Better Collective? I'm assuming that if they were to, have you for 6 hours, I think they'd probably get a lot of value out of kind of going, what could we do to get a better understanding of our own business, as well as what can we do from a content perspective?
I mean, content is definitely key. I'd start probably with the websites. What are they actually presenting? Where are they presenting? To who are they presenting? A lot of the names that you've mentioned are some of the affiliates that have come up in some of our acquisition audits. And the reality is, yes, they're an amazing name brand and They have a good reputation behind them. But when you look at the type of traffic that's coming through, it's very temporary for a lot of, well, you wouldn't expect it to be temporary. Let's put it like that. Um, but a lot of the traffic that is coming is, the 3 months, get as much out of as you can, and then you're going rinse and repeat. I would want to find a way to prolong that. And that comes down to figuring out the collaborative aspect that we discussed between those larger, more established affiliates and operator. What is your operator management strategy? What is your operator collaborative strategy? What is your understanding of what your operators are actually doing? And are you communicating that and cross checking that to what you're actually communicating? Are you harming your brand by misrepresentation or not? And if you aren't, how can we improve, optimize, or even expand to make you that content powerhouse and target the right audience with what they're looking for? And I think that's where marketing and brand and relationship building with operators goes hand in hand.
Yeah, it's we didn't really touch upon it too much, but it's almost like the brand building for the operator, for the affiliate. It sounds like when you actually spend time focusing on that, it actually leads to good things. It leads to better data. I think some companies do it well, but I think there's more on the operators and affiliates that could probably find ways of just improving their branding.
100%. But I think this also extends to your affiliate managers as well. Affiliate managers are not just glorified account managers specializing on affiliation. They also need to have a pulse on what's happening behind the scenes. They also need to be able to direct the affiliates in the right direction. So if you were to compare affiliate managers, VIP account managers, the roles are almost identical. The subject matter is the only thing that's changed. So if you want to change behavior or you want to shift behavior in a particular way, you need to be trained to understand how to do that. And you also need to have an understanding of what you're trying to achieve.
Yeah, that's interesting. It's almost like you wouldn't want to hire the sales focused VIP manager to manage your VIPs that doesn't have a lot of experience. Yet in affiliate marketing, we're seeing a lot of new affiliate managers come into the space, and who knows what reason there is for it. Like maybe it's because there's no affiliate marketing school. Like there's no VIP management school either. At least not that I know of. Maybe there's a few academies that actually offer these courses, but um, yeah, it's funny. It's the affiliate managers sometimes on my side as not even a real affiliate. Like we're a B2B affiliate, but we see the experience of what we get in dealing with affiliate managers on all of these programs, like hundreds, if not over 1,000. And it's a really bad experience. It makes you actually don't even care about the brand. And that's ironic because if you're an affiliate and you don't care about the brand just on the initial discussion, you're like, well, what else is behind this program? It's funny that you say that. I think a lot of affiliate programs need to hear this and kind of know, hey, your affiliate managers are an extension of VIP because if you piss me as the affiliate off, you're losing out on that next player.
100%.
Ir-
100%.
Irony. And I'm going to finish this off with what do you see of the future of affiliate marketing as it intersects with business intelligence?
I think going through everything that we've already highlighted, the saturation of the markets, how many brands are popping up and then closing down at an alarming rate. I think we're going to see far more of not so much a dependency, but desire to get companies like Blask and market insights into your affiliate modeling, try to get a much more data driven insight into your estimated FTDs, forecasting, estimated GGR, and looking at this impartial data, not coming from the operator side, but from these third parties to provide a more broader perspective. I think from the VIP side, more community driven approaches are going to pop up. And we've seen this actually very actively in the crypto space with Shuffle and Stake and all these different communities that are built around either cryptocurrency or a brand, very, very strong brands. Um, But where those will intersect in VIP will be data driven concierge, where your traffic will sign up to your affiliate program or to your advocacy or however you want to present it. And affiliates will need to start getting more involved. VIP is not going to suddenly grow exponentially. It's always going to be that small segment. And if affiliates want to capitalize on that very, very big contribution that is coming from a very small segment, they're going to need to make the effort to get more involved. And I think over the next 3 to 5 years, that is what is going to determine what affiliates do succeed, what affiliates get absorbed, consolidation, um, and what affiliates close.
Very insightful. I think we're definitely going to have a follow up conversation, and I hope people, especially in our iGaming space and the affiliate space, appreciate some of these ideas. So just want to pass it back to you to say how can people get a hold of you, and we'll include those links in the show notes.
I think the best way to reach me would be via LinkedIn. So anyone can reach out via DM, and I'll get back to whoever wants to reach out for a conversation.
So we'll include that as well as Warrior Lab, and then definitely a link to the newsletter, Galley's Guide. Definitely got to check it out. Galley, thanks so much for doing this. This was a
Thank you.
pleasure.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for tuning in to the Affiliate BI podcast. I'd like to take this time to ask for a small favor to leave a rating and review wherever you listen to your podcast. That helps us expand our reach to rank higher in podcast directories and reach more listeners.